Kia ora, good afternoon. I've currently got a mouthful of chocolate raisins. I let myself have one treat. I just let myself have one day, like one 24-hour period where I just treat myself. And I usually get myself chocolate peanuts and chocolate raisins. When I have the ability to make my own sugarless chocolate raisins and chocolate peanuts, I will. But for now, every now and then, a wee treat, it's fine. So as you know, I'm sitting here writing stuff, getting it all written out in my head so that when I've got internet access, I can get it all typed up, get it all saved and blah blah. So at the moment, I've been working on the first episode of The Time Jumping Detective, which, as you know, I want it to be like a kind of Jonathan Creek, Miss Marple's, a bit Enid Blyton, famous 5 Secret 7, the Agatha Christie mysteries, and like quintessential British whodunits. They're more, how can I explain it? Compared to an American whodunit, British whodunits are more intellectual. They make you go inside your head. Nothing is ever obvious with a British whodunit. Not usually. And I like all of that. And so I've been writing the first episode of The Time Jumping Detective. And of course it'll be filmed at the castle, if it's the castle that I am able to get. But just say, so we'll be able to make it look like a wee town where, she's got to go around solving this mystery with the local police and, blah, blah, blah. And the first episode is called Busybodies. And it's a play on words for the fact that it's because the neighbours have been watching everything that's been going on, because of the fact there's been a lot of suspicious activity. So it's a play on word. The busybodies are noticing how busy the bodies are, if you know what I mean. And it's like was there a murder, wasn't there a murder kind of thing. And having to go back to the clues that she'd left in the past to unravel this mystery. And yeah, it leading down like a whole path. And yeah, I've been having a ball writing. I was talking to my nephew about it, laying it all out with my nephew. Having someone to bounce ideas off. So I'm just kind of working on that as well. It's exciting. I want to be able to like really get involved in solving unsolved things, because in it she's going to leave clues. She'll always leave clues in her little cottage. The Time Jumping Detective, she will always leave clues. She will have left something in her cottage that will be like, when she's needing to find a spool with a thread on it that she can follow down her line of inquiry, she will always have some sort of thread that she's left in her cottage. So it's like, is she magic? Is her cottage magic? Like she does. Yes, she does this maths and all of that. But how has she always left clues and things that she's noticed going on, where she's left notes for herself sometimes 10 years before the person was born or before the event, or like how how does she have that thread there? Oh, look, I happened to find this in the blah. And there'll even be a joke in the village of like, just wait, she'll have the answer in her cottage, like that sort of thing, because she'll always come out with a piece of paper or something she had on her phone or in her pocket or whatever, and she'll say, well, I found this, and I think, when I followed the codes, it meant this, that, and the other thing, and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. So it's going to be kind of like her cottage is like the TARDIS sort of thing. She'll go in and come out, and she'll have just like the perfect thread to pull on that unravels like this whole mystery, because it's something she would have written when she was in Spain and brought it back on a set of matches or something. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what I do. I always find things in the past that help me solve things in the future. I leave little notes and codes to myself, which is what the Quantum Menace is about. She's able to read the messages that the artists and writers and musicians and that leave in their songs and in their artwork and in their book, and she follows the codes, and it helps her jump through wormholes to like travel back to the past and go to the future. The Quantum Menace, because I've had to rewrite it, starts with her jumping into the future and seeing an apocalyptic world, and then having to go back to the present day to gather all her mutant friends to say, whatever's going on in the future, we need to stop it now. And then having to find out, because every time she starts going down the wormhole, she gets sideswiped by someone trying to jump in on her jump, and it knocks her off kilter, and she like spirals, and she has to like gather her thoughts and her senses and that, so that she doesn't get stuck in like a time loop. And they keep trying to knock her off course, so then she has to find out who these shadow folk are that keep trying to jump in on her time slip and knock her off course. And then she's got to like save people from the past, like Sho, the samurai. She's got to get him and train him up and help him fight his dragons, his demons, and that, so that he can help her when the time comes to go into the arena at the end. They all have to gather at the end and have like a big boss fight, and then that's when they find out who the big boss is, Heracles, which is the opposite of Hercules. So he comes down, and then after they've fought who they thought were the bad guys, where Heracles comes down, and then that's when part 2 begins. And part 2 of the Quantum Menace goes backwards, and it tells all the battles that Heracles fought flying through space to get to fight the Quantum Menace and the Mutant Legion, Quantum Menace Mutant Legion, and how it all goes back to when he was a brain in a jar. So, yeah. So, yeah, so she finds little clues and messages to herself, and she's able to solve these murders and help the cops solve these murders. But the first one is called Busybodies, and it's because of the unusual activity and the weird hours that it's occurring in that everyone in the neighbourhood's starting to take notice and keeping notes and stuff. And then, like, was there a murder, wasn't there a murder? Like that sort of thing. Like, it's just when I get to sit in peace and quiet, because like these stories and everything I'm creating just is so important to me, because everything I'm writing for the kids that are going to help turn everything that I'm creating into real gaming entertainment or movie entertainment or music or food or whatever, it's helping them heal while they do it. It's art therapy. And they won't even realise they're doing it. They're just going to be doing what they love in a place where they're loved unconditionally. And so what I write in that, like, I put my whole heart into it. I want people to see Message in a Bottle, the one that was originally called The Harvest, about the Indigenous girl, the Indigenous fairy trapped in the bottle. I want people to grow up having watched that like 20, 30 years later and go, oh my God, that was about domestic violence, and not even realise. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I put a lot into this. I love doing murder mysteries and unsolved things and bringing those kind of worlds of fantasy and fairy tale together, because the thing is, as well, is that the time traveling detective series is going to start on the radio before we're able to get the production company up and running. You know, it's going to be part of my Saturday night radio matinee for dads and granddads and uncles and boys and that. Saturday night's been given over to the boys. And so we've got like the Quantum Menace sagas, where our first episode, it's like a whole World War II thing. So we need really awesome special effects and, you know, actors and people that can do lots of different accents and languages and all of that for the World War II radio matinee. And then, yeah, we've got, the Soul Collector, which is slightly darker stuff, you know, dealing with the darker side. And then the time traveling detective. And then, you know, if these things rate well, especially the time traveling detective, then when I've got a place built and Kiwi2 Productions is up and running and that, then we can look at turning that into an actual TV series, the time jumping detective. But for now, we can do it all on radio. So I need voice actors. I'm going to need voice actors, and I'm hoping if I can get a radio station, if I can buy one, start one, be given one, then we can bring back radio matinees, get people off their computers, get them away from their phones and that. Then they can sit and have a nice whiskey or sherry or beer or whatever and just sit back and listen to these whodunits and these sagas. And, you know, and then on Friday nights or Sunday nights especially, I can do my talkback radio where I get people in talking about, like, you know, breaking the cycle, talking about, you know, breaking karmic cycles and ancestral cycles, and, you know, doing my paranormal hour with unexplained mysteries. And we'll even do one where I'll look into unsolved murders and stuff. And then, you know, I can give my opinion and then people can call in and then maybe we might be able to get some crimes solved, you know? So, like, I'm going to be doing a lot on radio. I personally feel like I was born to do radio. I was so happy when I got the opportunity in Chicago. It was the start. But the thing is, I didn't know nearly half as much back then as what I do now. Looking back, if I'd gotten half the stuff to deal with then that I have now, I wouldn't have known how to deal with any of it. I wouldn't have had answers to give anyone because I hadn't perfected my science yet. So how can I be an expert if I hadn't even graduated myself? But now I know. Now I know how to give answers to it all. And I'm ready. So I want a radio station. I don't know, I mean, I say internet radio, but I really want I want to be able to broadcast on radios, not just the internet. I want to, like, have my broadcast go around the world. I want people to be able to, like, message in and stuff from around the world. Maybe even try and figure out how to do, like, a free line that you can call from anywhere around the world as long as you can speak English. Or, yeah. But, you know, I can help people. I can help the people that nobody knows how to help. And so, yeah, we're going to do one about the history of video games. Like, we've got all sorts of shows in mind, and I can do internet radio. I really can. It's free to do. I can do it. But I want to be able to get the reach because I know the kind of shows and that I'm doing. Sunday morning, children's matinee. Parents will be able to get up, tune into our radio station, put on the kids' stories, like the grandmother tree telling all the stories, like all the, you know, the books and stories and that I've written with all the different characters and You know, we can have children's matinee, and then we're going to have like all the ones for the women, and yeah, Saturdays is for the men, and they'll sit around and listen to their whodunits and their war sagas, and you know, we'll have all sorts, and I can't wait. I really can't. So yeah, so I need to get these stories all written because, like, honestly, once I find a place to call home and I can get my hands on a radio station or set up my own radio station, like, I want people auditioning, like, I want to get it done quick. I want to get this up really quick. And then people can just sit back on a Saturday, especially like in the winter time, and just listen to like our Christmas stories, and we can have like Christmas whodunit episodes. And so my voice actors and that, you know, they need to be charismatic and they need to have a presence that is felt over the radio. I want to bring all of that back, you know, and get people off the computers and off social media and that, and just sit back and listen. Or even if they are like on the computer listening to the radio show or listening to the stories. So I need a team of really good writers as well, because I don't want to do it all on my own. I mean, the whole point of me setting all of this up is to get people into jobs where they're really good at what they do, where we all work together to build up the economy and protect children with the profits of it. Well, that's what I'm doing anyway. So, yeah, busybodies, the time jumping detective. So, I'm also finishing that as well. And then if I've at least got the basics to handle, to hand over to my writing staff and that, then whatever they fill it up with in between, you know, it gives them something to work on so that we're not having to start from scratch. There's at least something there. I've tried to fill enough of the, I've tried to pad the bones out enough so that when I hand them the first game, the first movie, the first this, the first that, the first blah, there's enough on it for them to start with. So they're not sitting around twiddling their thumbs. And then I'll, you know, come and sit in, like, I'll approve the final storylines and add any bits that need changing, or, you know. So yeah, so the time jumping detective, the first episode is called Busybodies. So excited.